Can you hear anything? I can't hear nothing. Welcome to the 2023 AFL Townsville RMS Senior Men's Grand Final between the undefeated minor premiers and reigning premiers, the Tharrengower Bulldogs and the Hermit Park Tigers. Both teams primed, prepped and ready for battle. It's a glorious day for footy and is sure to be a cracking grand final. We have previously seen the Reserves Premiership won by the Tharrengower Bulldogs in extra time, and just recently the Women's KX Pilates Grand Final won by the Hermit Park Tigers. My name is Brennan Gibson. Joining me in commentary today is Hermit Park Tigers life member Jimmy Falkenberg. Jimmy, what's your opening thoughts on today's senior matchup? Jimmy, we've actually got some breaking news here in the AFL Townsville matchup today. Jason DeBetta, captain of the Hermit Park Tigers, has actually been a late withdrawal from today's game due to his wife Monica actually going into labour this morning. We wish them all the best and the safe arrival of their baby girl. Possibly by the end of the call we might be able to announce the name, but we'll wait for a message coming through from them. But we do wish them all the best, and it's unfortunate we're not going to see Jason out here today. Yeah, correct. Joshy has stepped up in previous weeks with both captains, Jason and Nick, being unavailable for a couple of games throughout the season. And I think from what I've seen and what I've heard talking to the playing group, that Josh Andrews has certainly stepped up when he's been called upon and shown that he can lead this Tigers team. We'll go over to the Tharrengower Bulldogs for a moment. I did manage to speak to head coach Brett Hughes about half an hour ago, and from what he's told me, there has been no late changes.
No changes. That's good for them. They'll be continuing that run, that undefeated run. No changes to the last few weeks for them. They'll like that. That's a bit of consistency in a football team if they're
The Tharrengower Bulldogs, captained by Charlie Goodian, it's his second or third year as captain, and I think he's really started to come into his own as a leader, especially under Coach Brett Hughes this year, who's really given him a leash to go out and run the team the way that he wants to run the team.
Yeah, perfect. And he's guided by Joel Newman, who's got a lot of experience in the football as well, and he's vice captain along with Wilson for the side. These two vice captains are guiding young Charlie. He's doing a fantastic job as skipper this year, and do out in the field as leading the group.
Before we get into today's key matchups, Jimmy, and also a little bit of a chat about the coaches, we'll run through the sides. So from the Tharrengower Bulldogs, number 1, Jack Livingston. Number 2, Ricky Sullivan. Number 3, Adam Bice. Number 4, Jack Wynn. Number 5, Charlie Goodian. Number 6, Stewie Guest. Number 8, Daniel Murtha. Number 10, Max Newman. Number 11, Joel Newman. Number 12, Chris Tidswell. Number 14, Matthew Trend. Number 19, Brody Flood. Number 21, Nathan Searle. Number 22, Brock Wilson. Number 23, Jared Gilroy. Number 27, Lockie O'Dwyer. Number 28, Jordan Murtha. Number 32, Daniel Watson. Number 35, Liam LeBlash. Number 39, Joel Dwyer. Number 55, Dominic Marshall. And number 57, Christian Payne. Jimmy, we'll just let everyone know that there has been a slight delay in the start of today's game due to the reserve game going to extra time. So we might take a short 3-minute break, and we'll come back to you very shortly.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Riverway Stadium for the RMS Senior Men's Grand Final between the Thurngale Bulldogs and the Herman Park Tigers. I'd like to acknowledge the Woogaroo, Kebab and Bindal people that are traditional custodians of these lands. I would also like to pay my respects to elders, past, present and emerging. Can I now ask everyone who is willing and able to be upstanding for the Australian National Anthem?
Welcome back to the coverage of the 2023 AFL Townsville RMS Senior Men's Grand Final. Apologies for the short delay there. We were having some technical difficulties with our microphones, so we will just quickly, before the game starts, run through the senior Herman Park Tigers team, simply because we couldn't get that through before.
Thanks, Brennan, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. For the Herman Park Tigers, number 1, Cale Neville. Number 2, Callaway Parker, the best Parker. Number 4, Benny Matthews. Number 5, Lockie Clark. Number 7, Jesse McClay, who's also celebrating his 100th game with number 1, Cale Neville. A late out in Jason DeBetta, number 8. Number 10, Henry Stevens. Number 12, Xavier Cameron. Number 13, Nicholas Armstrong. Number 15, Loxalicious Adam Fedor. Number 16, Jai Thompson. Number 17, James Sullivan. Number 18, Thomas Keating. Number 22, William Ball. Number 23, Daniel Morgatron Morgan. Number 24, Jasper DeFazio. Number 26, Benjamin Pearson. With number 29, return to the Mac, Sean McElraith. Number 36, Josh Andrews, who is the captaining the side this evening. Number 44, Robert Reeves. Number 51, Jamie Morris. Number 54, Daniel Bailey. And entering in the late withdrawal for Jace DeBetta is Harry Sullivan.
Thanks, Jimmy. We're almost ready to get this game underway. We've got a battle of coaches today. It's actually the Master versus the Apprentice in Herman Park Tigers coach Max Tink. He's taken the Tigers to the grand final in his rookie season as coach, coming up against his former mentor in Brett Hughes, who's the Thurngale Bulldogs coach. I spoke to both coaches through the week. They're both ready to go. They're both very calm, but showing definite signs of confidence. It's sure to be a great matchup, and we're just about ready to get the game underway. Umpires for today, we've got field umpires Michael Wilkins, Andrew Grubber and Brodie Kemp. Our emergency is Ian Spurrell. Boundary, Mark Gobel, Connor McMahon, Caden Knudsen and Noah Ward. Behind the goals, we've got Cheryl Gray and Warren Derrick.
Thanks, Brenno. As the umpires signalling the start of the game. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2023 Grand Final is underway with the McElraith and the Bulldogs winning the tap early. We've got a clearance from young Jesse, the 100th gamer, Daniel Morgatron there with a clearing handball to Nick Armstrong, who slaps it forward on there, looking for Jamie Morris. A great mark there, courageous stuff there.
Yeah, I think Jamie Morris could be a big key for the Tigers today if they're to come out victorious. You know, he is 38 years old, but he's a big body. He's got a really good footy IQ in a Herman Park Tigers team that is very young.
Exactly right. As he gets March 50 for his efforts, I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe in a bit of back chat there. The key for this game is the first team to settle in any grand final should prosper a bit here. Lack of talk there, lack of discipline there by the Doggies by the look of it. So hopefully they can curb that pretty quick.
Yeah, I don't think Coach Hughes would be too impressed with starting a grand final with a 50-metre penalty. But Jamie Morris goes back and he's actually pulled that one across the side of goal for a behind. So scores are underway here. Tigers 0 goals, 1 behind, lead the Bulldogs 0. Bulldogs kick it out. They've found Matthew Trend. He's looking for a number down the line. He's looking to spot up Tidswell, but he can't get his hands to the football. Joel Newman gets a footy in his hands. He's looking for a number. He finds the player in the centre of the ground, but he can't find it too cleanly. It's a little bit scrappy out here already, Jimmy.
Yeah, good call there, Brenner. They've looks like we're going to have a ball up there just forward to halfway for the Thurngale Bulldogs. They're going to like this. They're going to like a lot of stoppages, the Tigers, so hopefully they can keep this up. As Shawnee Mack goes up for the contest there, the Bulldogs look to clear it here through, it's a short little bump there. He's had a look. Great tackle there by Fedor. Umpire lets it go. They're going to Bulldogs to rebound through the centre there. They look like it hit an open target. And Jasper DeFazio at the back there contesting. Oh, it's a turnover now. Oh, he slipped over.
I think it's going to be key in this game, Jimmy, that the first team that can settle, get a bit of a score on the board, but can settle and get the game on their terms is going to have a definite advantage, given the fact that both coaches have indicated that the start is the most important thing for today.
That is correct, Brenno. We've got a contested mark in the goal square. The Bulldogs looking for a stoppage here to reset. And as the ball is rushed through for a behind, the scores are level. This is very tight, to say the obvious here, early on in the 2023 AFL Townsville Grand Final. Looking to take the kick out for the Tigers is Cale Neville. And he is an absolute lace with the kick, and that is no different there. He is kicked with the Mercedes-Benz in Cale Neville, celebrating his 100th game. As he goes long down the line.
apologies, we just had a slight issue with some vision there. We couldn't actually see what was going on. So Thurngale Bulldogs have got a free kick. They look to send it forward. I think Callaway Parker's contesting for it there, but he can't get his hands on the footy. Lockie Clark, he's trying his best there to get his hands on the footy. It's just the first team that wants to get this footy in their hands so they can balance it. There's a lot of heat in the contest out there, Jimmy.
Yeah, that's right, Breno. And like we said, the first team to settle normally does well in the grand final. So hopefully the Dogs and the Tigers will be battling that out as they set up here. We've got a boundary throw in, just 4 to 50.
Jimmy, what's your thoughts? What's the key to victory for both teams here?
Oh, I think, Joshy Andrews is a leading full forward. He's a big, broad-shouldered man. You know, the Tigers need to utilise him, hit him out, respect his leads, and he can kick a bag of goals today. And if he has a day out, the Dogs are going to be in trouble. What do you think, Breno? I think, with the Dogs there, so the ball is battled over the line. We've got a boundary throw in just on the wing there, but your keys for the Bulldogs, Breno?
For the Bulldogs, I think if they can get the ball through the hands of the likes of Chris Tidswell, he's a beautiful left foot kick, uses the ball so well. And obviously the power run that they get from Joel Newman coming off half back. He plays like a midfielder coming off the half back line. When the ball's in his hands, they seem to get that penetration forward. So I think if they can get the ball coming through the Tidswells, the Jack Wins and the Joel Newmans, I think they're going to be in pretty good stead. Obviously the Bulldogs have probably got a little bit more experience in today's game when it comes to playing grand finals than the Tigers, being a young side. But I think the Tigers can add to that with their youth, with the speed. If they've come in with the right mindset and the right mentality, I think they can get the win just by using that speed and getting it out wide and moving the footy.
I think another key for the Tigers is not to let that number 14, Matty Trend, sit in the hole in the Tigers forward 50. He is a cut-off man. He's an intercepting machine. They're going to have to put a limit on him and what he's available to do, unfortunately. But he is a great player. They'll need to keep an eye on that and not just bomb it in. They'll have to have a bit of direction going forward.
Jimmy, do you tag Joel Newman? You know, he's won the Bulldogs best and fairest this year. He's probably the favourite to win the league best and fairest. He's won league best and fairest. He's won club best and fairest, not only in the Townsville League but also in other leagues. In the first final where the Bulldogs comfortably beat the Tigers, he absolutely ran amok out there. So, you know, in my opinion, you've got to respect those players and you've got to give them the respect. And the respect to him is probably tagging him today.
Yeah, I think, Brennan, I think you're right. I'm not much of a tagging kind of coach, so as the ball's rushed behind, I think if they can have someone run with him for the first few minutes of this game, maybe the first quarter, see how damaging he is, maybe make the call at quarter time. If he is getting a lot of football and a lot of clearances, maybe then look at tagging him.
I think this is a key area for the Tigers today is their kickouts. The Bulldogs really picked them apart on the Tigers' defensive kickouts in the first final. So I think if the Tigers can be a bit smarter with their kickouts and go that shorter option and look to penetrate once they get over the centre of the field, that's where they'll probably get a benefit. But they've got to be very smart with the use of the footy coming out of the back line. All right, the Bulldogs have just put it up forward. They've actually just turned it over to the Tigers, who have moved the ball quite well, coming out of the back line through the hands of Daniel Morgan. But he's actually kicked that one out on the full, so that's an unfortunate finish for the Tigers. I think this is where the Bulldogs are really going to try and set their game plan and the style of play that they want. You know, they've got it through the hands of Joel Newman, straight back into the middle through Lockie O'Dwyer. He's going to use the run that he always does and penetrate the ball forward. And you know, this is just pretty football what they've done there. You know, switch it backwards, go backwards, get it into the hands of Joel Newman, who you want it in. He spots up Lockie O'Dwyer through the middle, and then they put the ball forward. That's classy football, Jimmy, and I think that's where the Tigers need to keep an eye on the Dogs today.
That's right, Brenner. That's resulted in number 3, Adam Bice, having an uncontested mark, probably 30 out on a 45-degree angle. We'll watch at home, sail this one through. He's pulled it to the right. That's a let-off, big let-off there for the Tigers. Like you said, Brenner, they want us to start watching watching those guys, especially like Joel Newman, he's starting to get a bit of footy now. So as Kale looks to take the kick outs again.
See, Jimmy, they get away with that one through Cale Neville's kick, but I personally think that's a bit of a nothing kick. That's a bit of a risky kick so early in the game. Yes, they got away with it, but they need to just maintain possession here and get the game onto their terms. The first team to get that opening goal is certainly going to start to settle nerves, and it's going to give them a small advantage early in the game.
Yeah, that's right. I think that kick out was biting off a little more than he can chew there, Kale Neville. Maybe look at using the pockets and the wings, and then maybe looking to come in the corridor once it's forward of halfway. As we have a boundary throw in just on the Tigers forward 50. The Tigers will look to set up here in an attacking position. Keep your eye on Joel Newman, see where he's going to be sitting. They're going to look for him, the Dogs.
Speaking of the coaches before the game, Jimmy, obviously we've got the Mr. Intensity in Coach Max Newman at the Tigers, and a very laid-back coach in Brett Hughes. Do you think they're going to be making many changes today, or you think they're just going to stick to their game plan and run it out?
So one thing I can tell you about Coach Max Tink is he is Mr. Intensity, right? I think, Max has a plan, and he is very, I don't want to say stubborn, but he is very, he will stick to that plan, and he believes in the plan, and that's a good thing for the Tigers. So they're just going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. What about Brett Hughes?
Yeah, Jimmy, couldn't agree more. I actually spoke to Max earlier in the week, and he did tell me that he's got a game plan that he believes can beat the Bulldogs. Obviously, the Bulldogs are undefeated, but he's got a game plan that he feels that if the boys can execute it and come in with the right mentality, that they can get the job done today, and we'll have to see how that pans out. Brett Hughes, he is actually a former coach of the Tigers, and you would have seen in one of his previous premiership wins, Tigers were trailing by 36 at half time, and he actually just stuck to the process and stuck to his game plan, and ended up coming home with the Chockies. So I think he's going to run his game style, run his game plan, and back it in 100%. There certainly comes a time in a game of footy where you have to make changes. Cale Neville's just picked up the ball there, and he's got tied up very quickly. So we've got another stoppage here through Sullivan. He gets his hands to the footy, but the Bulldogs get it through Lockie O'Dwyer, who gives it handball away to Stuart Guest. He gets it back away. He finds Lockie O'Dwyer, but the Tigers are bringing the pressure here. They're making it very hard for the Bulldogs to get that run and carry that they like to have.
That's great heat there, great heat as the Bulldogs player gets up a little gingerly. The Tigers looking to reset. The Dogs, they win the tap now, and they go to tap through Lockie Clark out the back, but it's the Dogs there again in Chris Tidswell. He is a ball magnet, that fella.
Yeah, Chris Tidswell is a classy ball user. He's probably, if not the best, he'd be one of the top three kicks in the Townsville competition. So got to be very wary of him and the ball going through his hands as the Bulldogs take a mark up forward through. So Lockie O'Dwyer has taken the mark up forward here, so he's going to go back for another shot on goal. He certainly had his hands on a bit of the footy early in the piece, Jimmy.
Yeah, getting up gingerly, being very unassuming. The Tigers seem to have let him stroll forward and take an uncontested mark. Probably about 25 metres out on a slight angle. Be a good time to mention both these coaches are very keen golfers. Well, I think Brett Hughes having the handicap on Max Tink as this ball hits the woodwork.
I don't know about that handicap on Max Tink there, Jimmy. I did play a round of golf with Brett Hughes not too long ago, and he actually eagled on a par 4 from 130 out from, believe it or not, he was actually hitting out of the bushes.
That must have been an Ambrose.
All right, ball's in the hands of Adam Fedor, really good user of the footy. He goes straight down the line. He's looking for Robert Reeves, who can't get his hands on the footy, but he continues to fight and he gets it out. But Bulldogs again bring it out through the hands of Nathan Searle. Nathan Searle sends it forward. He looks for Charlie Goodyear, but he can't get the hands on it too cleanly. But he works so hard, he gets it back, and he spots up young Stuart Guest, who is an absolute deadeye from this range with the footy in hand. Takes after his brother. We'll give him a shout out, Riley Guest, who kicked a lot of goals for the Thuringowa Bulldogs a few years ago.
Are you backing this one in, Brenner? Are you going to put the commentary curse on him?
Jimmy, we've seen five shots on goal, 4 of those from the Bulldogs. I think it's time that this one goes through.
There you have it.
And the first goal of the day comes through Stuart Guest. I think he was paying $1.02 for that, but that's actually a really nice goal. He's gone back and slotted it and just taken the pressure out of the game for the Bulldogs a little bit. They can breathe a little bit more now, and that puts the heat back onto the Tigers. You know, 5 scoring shots to 1 is something you really need to start looking at.
I think that is a bit of reward for effort there for the Bulldogs. Like you say, Breno, 5 scoring shots. A few of them very gettable goals, so they'll be very relieved. Coach Brett Hughes, he'll be very relieved that they finally sent one through the high diddle-diddle. Tigers look to reset here through the centre bounce in Sean McElwraith. So we'll see how this goes.
The ball goes up. And the Bulldogs ruckman's actually just probably getting it over the top of the Tigers ruckman at the moment. He's using a lot more body, and the Tigers ruckman, young Sullivan, he jumps off 2 feet, so I think he's going to have to be very mindful of that at the centre bounces, jumping off 2 feet, because if the Bulldogs are going to try and put the knee down the throat, it's going to take his advantage out of it all day. So Bulldogs have clearly got a plan in place, and so far, you know, with 5 scoring shots going back for another one, that's working for them at this stage. I think making big changes in a first quarter of footy is a pretty big call, but I think it's time that the Tigers sort of switch on or start to think about a couple of little changes that they might be able to make just to get the balance back in this game.
Yeah, I think the Tigers need to do something in their midfield there. It seems to be coming out from the midfield far too easily for the Dogs, as we have a ball up about 10 metres out from the goal line there. Adam Fedor looks like he's taken the ruck mantle. We have not really a clearing kick. It's a dangerous kick. If it'll be paid the mark if it's marked, and it appears to be marked. He's paid the mark. That's a fair call. It's a mark. Oh, the boys are getting a little bit heated here. It's a little bit heated. Careful, boys. It's a grand final. You don't want to turn it over.
So Lockie O'Dwyer will go back for another shot on goal here. He's already had a couple of looks at this, so I'm sure he's going to want to put this one through. Jimmy, just while we're going back for this shot on goal, we'll have a bit of a chat about the Tigers key players. We spoke about Joel Newman and Tidswell from the Bulldogs, but I think if the Tigers can get the ball in the hands of the young talent in Callaway Parker, that's going to be a great benefit to them. You know, in the final last week against the Curra Swans, as Lockie O'Dwyer goes back and puts that one through. Last week in the final against the Curra Swans, I think Callaway Parker he unleashed the beast and just put the Tigers on his back, especially in the first half.
Yeah, Callaway Parker, he is definitely untouchable. Not even baby oil sticks to that fella. He is a key player for the Tigers side, along with the young guy up forward, Xavier Cameron. Electric machine, very good speed straight out the first 25 metres, untouchable, much like Callaway Parker, and very good kicks.
Jimmy, I just want to make mention to Dan Bailey. Obviously in the first final he missed out, didn't play in the first week of finals, and he got his chance last week to come back in for the Tigers, and here he is today lining up in the midfield for the Tigers in a grand final.
Yeah, yep, he was omitted in the first final, and looks like he has earned his spot. They've had a chat to him. They've laid down the law. They've asked what they want of him, and he has proven his spot worthy. So congratulations to Bailey. As the Tigers look to go forward through Morgo on the wing, the man's got more tattoos than I have hair, which is not hard because I have no hair at the moment. But it's intercepted. The Tigers looking a bit scrappy when they're travelling forward. They want to curb that. Start looking at hitting targets, stop wasting the football going forward, I think.
Yeah, I think the Tigers are probably just going a little bit too shallow towards their forward 50. They've probably got to make that extra kick and get it deeper inside forward 50. We have had someone actually come in on the chat that I can see. Billy O'Connor has made the big call to move Jamie Morris up to full forward, and he assumes he'll kick 7. You know, that could be an option. Do you put Jamie Morris, a big body, up full forward and give him the 50 to himself?
It's all well and good having the best forwards in the league, but our midfields and half forwards need to get the ball to them. So yes, putting Jamie Morris at full forward would be a smart move, but the delivery there needs to be there for him to have any chance at clunking the marks and kicking the goals needed to win this grand final.
Bulldogs send it forward again. Tigers have cleaned up quite nicely through young James Sullivan there. He's sent it out. He's looking for, I believe it's Daniel Morgan. We do apologise. We are having some issues with vision, so it's quite difficult to see the players when they are on that far wing. We will get our eye. We will get our eye in, Jimmy, and we'll get it hopefully by the end of the game. But it's a little bit of a struggle at the moment. So ball comes in. We've got a 50-50 contest. I think we're going to see a lot of this today. A lot of scrappy 50-50 contest, Jimmy. I think with the style that both teams play, that's probably one of the keys to victory as the Bulldogs send it forward for another look at goal. But I think with the scrappy 50-50 congested footy, that's how they take the run and carry away from both teams. You know, the Tigers, with that young, youthful team, they want to get it into their runners. They want to get it out wide and run and send it forward, whereas the Bulldogs want to get that quick penetration off a turnover.
Yeah, totally agree, Breno. As the Bulldogs players, they look like they've just kicked another one. I don't know yet, but it's maybe alarm bells for the Tigers. Being wasteful forward of halfway, the boys might want to have hear the quarter time siren so they can get in there, regroup, and adjust what they need to be doing. So we'll see what happens.
Obviously, with the late out of Jason Nabetta today, Jimmy, that's one midfielder they lose. But not only that, they also lost their other captain 2 weeks ago to a shoulder injury in Nick Pronk. Now, Nick Pronk, big-bodied midfielder that brings a lot of pressure, great tackling ability. I think that's already shown that he's probably one that they are missing today. They do have Tommy Lyon in there, but I think Nick Pronk is a pretty tough one to replace.
Yeah, much the same. The co-captain Nick Pronk out with a shoulder injury, the poor guy. The same tackling technique as Tommy Lyon and Josh Andrews. You're just happy not to be tackled by them. As the quarter-time siren sounds, the Bulldogs lead 3-4-22 to the Tigers, 1 behind 1. So a bit of regrouping here for the Tigers, and congratulations on a good quarter for the Bulldogs.
Jimmy, going into quarter time here, obviously the Bulldogs will go in not so much looking at the score. I don't think you look at the score in grand finals because anything can happen. We've seen come from behind victories in many grand finals before. But I think the 7 scoring shots to 1 is probably the key that Coach Brett Hughes is going to be looking at and be really happy with his guys. If the Bulldogs can clean it up, I think they probably turn that 7 scoring shots into 8 or 9. What's your thoughts on the Tigers?
Yeah, tough one there, Breno. Repeat forward entries for the Bulldogs is alarming for the Tigers, and like I said before, the Tigers look to be a bit wasteful, travelling forward of halfway. So Max Tank will want to address that very quickly, and I think the key for the second quarter is the Tigers need to respond straight away. I think if the Doggies get the first 1 or 2 goals, or the first clearances even, I think Coach Brett Hughes will be very happy. The Bulldogs will start to get it their way a little bit. So we'll see what Max Tink can do. We'll see what the midfields can do. And like I said, it's all well and good to have the best forwards in the league, but the ball needs to get down there for them to go to work.
We'll take a short break with the Bulldogs leading 22-1, looking to go back-to-back in their 2023 RMS AFL Grand Final. welcome back to the coverage of the 2023 RMS Engineering AFL Townsville Senior Men's Grand Final. Jimmy, that was a quick start by the Bulldogs. Obviously, the Tigers didn't get off to the start that they probably wanted. Coach Max Tink said before the game that he thinks the start was so crucial, but they've kept 7 scoring shots to only a 21-point lead by the Bulldogs. They've certainly got to be at least happy that the Bulldogs haven't kicked straight, because they certainly haven't put this game out of reach.
Yeah, I think the Tigers can count their blessings a bit there. They've been let off the hook. Like you said, Max Tink figures the start is very important. Much the same as the start of the second quarter. You see Callaway Parker get the centre clearance, and it looks like it's a 55-metre chip for a behind. One of the best behinds you'll ever see in this league. And a good kick too. And
Callaway Parker, obviously one that we mentioned earlier in the call, Jimmy, is one that if the Tigers can get the ball going through his hands, that's going to give them every opportunity today. But I think they really need to be able to get him off the leash.
Yeah, they're going to look to unleash him, like you said, Breno, and also Xavier Cameron, who I mentioned before, a young gun who's electric around the contest. So they want to use him good, as we see a dropped mark there by the Tigers. Daniel Morgatron there needs a bit of help through Lockie Clark.
We see Jesse McClay obviously playing his 100th senior game today, along with his best mate Cale Neville. Both of them played since they were 6 years old over on Maggie Island, and just so happens to be that they're both playing their 100th senior game in today's grand final, which is really good to see.
How good is that? You know, it's great to see Cale Neville grow up playing footy alongside his best mate. Jesse is rumoured to be the same height since under sixes, but congratulations, a great feat. As the man on cue gets forward and, oh no, I've put the mocker on him, unfortunately.
I think the Tigers have already shown in this quarter they've lifted their pressure and their intensity around the footy. So that could be what the message was at quarter time by Coach Max Tink. The Bulldogs are showing that they really just want to get the footy in the hands of their ball users and wait for something to open up.
Yeah, that's right. As we see the uncontested mark, he's come straight off the interchange there. Be careful, Callaway Parker. You don't want to give away a 50-metre penalty. Max Tink would have said the start is imperative here. As we see great pressure there from Callaway Parker. Oh, he's been rewarded holding the ball, and he's let him know.
And that's what they've brought this quarter, Jimmy. They've clearly upped the pressure. That's what they need to do. They've had an early shot on goal. You can see Callaway Parker. He's signalling to the crowd to get louder. That's what they want. They want the crowd to get into the game. They want the pressure up. They want it to be high intensity footy. And I think if it is, that's what suits the Tigers. If it stays as a slower paced game, that's certainly going to benefit the Bulldogs.
Yeah, the Bulldogs are definitely want to keep the game flowing in their way, which is a bit slow, a bit stop start. A few picking off the uncontested marks. The Tigers like it scrappy, the Bulldogs do not, so we'll see how this second quarter unfolds. But the Tigers seem to have brought the pressure here at the start of the second term.
You can see the Tigers got every single player on their attacking side of the ground, so they've clearly brought everyone up. They want to lock it inside their forward 50 here and try and create repeat opportunities until they break the barrier and get that goal.
It's 2 minutes 47 seconds into the second quarter, and there's not one player in the back half for the Herman Park Tigers. Everyone is pushed forward. It's a deep press by the Bulldogs as they look to clear the kick out the back there through Chris Tidswell. He's a ball user. He knows what he's doing. Morgatron out the back there looks to be free by himself as he waits for, he waits for Fedor to get the hands. Morgs looks like he's going to get it back.
Through Rafa.
Through Rafa, yes.
Forward.
Tigers stay down, and there he is, Xavier Cameron. What can he do?
He finds Robert Reeves in the goal square, and Robert Reeves is going to go back for what looks to be the Tigers' first goal of the day. They've had 2 scoring opportunities in this second quarter versus their 1 in the first quarter. They've clearly upped the ante a little bit here, and this could be a good sign.
This is exactly the start Max Tink would have wanted. The boys have brought the pressure. The forward pressure has been elite. The ball stayed down here for the whole entirety of the second quarter, and the Tigers have been rewarded with a shot on goal. Robert Reeves on a slight angle, and he has missed.
He's been watching Harry Mackay.
Wow.
Harry Mackay's done that twice last night, and now Robert Reeves has done it. I've never seen it done 3 times in a weekend.
Well, there you go. But Robert Reeves has already got the bandage on the eyebrow too. He earned himself a few stitches last weekend in the prelim final against Cara Swans.
Bulldogs looking to spot up Max Newman here. If they can get it into the hands of the big fella Max Newman, then they normally get something coming from that. But Joel Dwyer, he sends it forward. He's looking looking for Daniel Murtha here, who's got a great set of wheels on him, and he's just got to put it out front for Stuart Guest to run onto. If Stuart Guest can get his hands on the footy here, it's a free kick going the way of the Hermit Park Tigers. I think they've got away with one there, the Hermit Park Tigers.
The Dogs looked out then, Breno. All they had to do was run it into an open goal. A big let off.
Daniel Murtha normally comes out of the goal square. He's obviously playing a bit higher up the ground here today, and I think seeing him up at half forward, just in that opportunity there with the leg speed that he's got, it could be quite damaging if they can get the ball through his hands. I think we're going to have we're holding the ball. Been called by umpire Andrew Grubber against Jesse McClay. It could have gone either of three ways there. It could have been a ball up, a holding the ball, or probably even a push in the back there, but we'll go with a
bit of a lottery there. It looks like, DeFazer looks like he's copped one high, as the Dogs look like they've snapped goal. Snap goal from their captain, Charlie Gordon. It was a great snap there. He crumbed it well. As the Tigers trainers look to go out to the injured Hermit Park player there. Seems to be okay. Might have just copped one just on the mush there, I say, Breno. Not too damaging. I mean, it's all about looks in the mush, so you're not going to be knocked unconscious by an open hand slap, but it's uncomfortable to say the least.
We've got, looking at the midfield, we've got, by the looks of it, we've got Chris Tidswell, Jack Wynn, and, sorry, I can't see who that third one is. It might be Charlie Gordian going into the midfield. No, it's actually Jack Livingston, sorry. So Jack Livingston coming from the Bulldogs, but the Tigers have actually won a couple of clearances here, which is a good sign, but they get it into the hands of ever so reliable
silly.
And that's what the Tigers have got to be careful of. They probably have been a little bit ill-disciplined this season, certainly improved towards the back end of the year, but they've got to be very mindful of that, and giving away cheap free kicks is not going to play to their advantage. As Jack Wynn got the footy in his hands, and he looks for number 32, Daniel Watson. Daniel Watson, he's going to play on, send the ball down. He's looking for someone, but Nick Armstrong has taken the mark, and he's played on straight away to send the ball back forward. He's looking for Xavier Cameron, but he can't get the hand.
Great intercept mark. None other than, is that Joel Newman?
Joel Newman, Jimmy, I think he's already up to about 10 or 12 touches.
Yeah, it's alarm bells, I think, Breno. Alarm bells. They may have to do something about that, the Tigers. He's getting a lot of football.
He works so hard, Jimmy. He gets rewarded with lots of touches because he works harder than most.
Yeah, that's right. A young fella, Harry Stevens, taking an intercept mark there on half-back.
Harry Stevens playing off half-back. He actually came off last weekend's under-17s grand final where he kicked 9 goals up full forward. So you could say he's going to be pretty versatile as he gets 50 or 60 senior games under his belt.
He's kicked 9 goals in a junior grand final and has to play at half-back in the seniors. What can't this kid do?
He's a serious talent. Charlie Gordian looks for Dominic Marshall there, but he can't get the footy in his hands. Lockie Clark cleans it up. He goes back to Henry Stevens, who finds Joshy Andrews. Josh Andrews, he looks to go back to the middle quickly. He finds Xavier Cameron. This is where, if the Tigers can get that move from behind the footy, if they can start running and creating some options, they might get that run and carry that they want.
They've got to be quicker, I think, Breno. They seem to be taking too much time. It's allowing the Bulldogs to get behind play and reset.
I know they want to chip it around and play it wide, because that limits the amount of times that the Bulldogs can force the turnover going through the middle of the ground, because they're so lethal coming back through the middle. But I think if they are going to chip it around like they have been here, they need to get that run from behind the footy so they can get that link-up option and penetrate the footy forward.
And there's that man again, Mr. Joel Newman, intercept mark on half-back. Looks like we'll have a ball in, or a ball up. Just forward to halfway, Dogs attacking.
Young Sullivan in the ruck, he's doing a really good job, but he's come up against a very experienced big body in Jared Gilroy. I think Jared Gilroy's got a clear message today, and that is use his advantage with his body weight to throw the young fella around, and he's certainly done that. So I think the Tigers need to have a bit of a look at that. But young Sullivan in the ruck for the Tigers is working really hard. It's just a little bit of sloppy footy going both ways here, Jimmy. I think having both teams having the shot on goal this quarter has probably put the game back to 0-0, even though the score doesn't reflect that. It's put it back to 0-0. So both teams are just trying to get the game going their way and get the advantage.
Almost seems like they're back feeling each other out again at the start of the second quarter here, as the Bulldogs look to enter forward 50. Oh, that is a lovely kick. As a forward, you love that ball delivered like that. That is a defender's nightmare. There's no way in the world a defender playing behind can reach that.
I'm not the senior coach for the Tigers out there, Jimmy, but if I was, I'd certainly be keeping a close eye on number 27, Lockie O'Dwyer. He's had a couple of shots on goal. He's had a goal assist, and he's also had a few inside 50s come off his boot.
Early.
He's been very damaging early. If you were to call the game right now, he's my best on ground.
Yeah, definitely. Up there with Joel Newman as well. Like I said, he's probably up to a dozen touches already. As the Tigers get a bit of a let-off there.
This is where we spoke about it early. The Bulldogs have shown this year that they haven't been real accurate with their shots on goal. So the Tigers are going to get many opportunities today with their kickouts. And I think that this is where they've got to be very smart. I like that option. Just put it into the pocket.
They've got an option out wide here.
Seeing what they can open up.
And that is a great contested mark. Great contested mark. Just shy of the wing there for the Tigers. They punch it forward. Jamie Morris, the target up there, the big fella.
He is sharing a bit of time between up deep forward and on ball. I think the size and the body size that he's got is certainly going to be a benefit for him on ball for short spurts. But if the Tigers start getting a bit of a run on and getting the ball moving forward, he could be quite potent up forward for him. Takes a very good overhead mark. But at the moment, all things are going the way of the Thurngale Bulldogs.
Yeah, a little bit of an arm wrestle here, to say the least. I say the Bulldogs seem to be coming out on top. They're doing the little things right. They are converting. They've been let off a few times, but I think the Tigers, with their opportunities, it seems limited at the moment. They need to be taking these opportunities with their set shots in front of goal. A bit of reward for effort here. If the Tigers can keep it in, lock it into their forward 50, the reward there would obviously be a goal, and a much needed goal as well.
I think this is a really good time for someone like Josh Andrews, who's getting his opportunity today. It's only the second or third time he's had an opportunity to captain this side, but obviously with the loss of both Nick Pronk and Jason DeBetta for this grand final, really good time for him to come and maybe assert himself into the midfield for a short spurt and just bring the dominance that he has with his body size and throw his weight around a little bit just to set the tone.
Yep, he is a man that takes no prisoners. As we see, the Tigers 100 gamer Jesse McLeay awarded with a free kick for a holding, and there is the man there, Josh Andrews. Ball scrapping about 12-15 metres just outside of the goal line there. We'll see a ball up.
We've got Callaway Parker was lurking around there a little bit, but Bulldogs have also got some big bodies behind the footy here, so they're going to try and get it through them and probably just get it on the boot and clear the 50 here.
There's the man, Callaway Parker. Seems to be taken high there. Yes, it's been rewarded.
They have paid the high there, but that was a little bit Ginnivan-like there. I think he's played for that one a little bit, Jimmy, but I think it's a fair call to say that it was high.
I think, Brenno, if you bend down to pick the ball up, I think you're entitled to. Like you said, they probably put a little bit of mayo on that sandwich, but the Tigers have been rewarded here. This one, without a doubt, and without stating the absolute obvious, needs to go through. He's a fantastic kick of the footy. I don't want to say too much more and put the commentator's curse on him, so we'll just watch this.
So the Bulldogs 4 goals, 5-29 lead the Tigers 0 goals, 3 points. But the Tigers have just put their first goal on the board at the 13-minute mark of the second quarter.
Will that be the spark, Brenno? Will that be the spark that the Tigers need?
Jimmy, I personally think that the experience is showing that the Bulldogs have. They've just had enough opportunities with the experience they've got in, the Joel Newmans, Ricky Sullivans, Chris Tidswell, that have all played well over 100, 150 senior games. I think they've shown sooner than the Tigers have that whether a game's scrappy or it's not going your way, just how to settle it and get the ball in your hands and keep it on your terms. So I think if the Tigers can find that through some of their leaders, that'll certainly help them.
We see the Tigers' very own slender man, Sean McElraith, playing in his first senior AFL grand final. He does not much of a footballer. I think it's his first year, if I am to believe correctly. He's earned his spot. He's played well all season, and I think he's well deserving of being the number one ruckman as he gets up a little gingerly there. Not a lot of meat on them bones there, Shawnee.
Jack Livingston has the footy in hands. He's looking for Dom Marshall, I believe it is, that he's spotted up forward. Or it may be Daniel Watson. No, I believe it's Dom Marshall. Dom Marshall is certainly in range.
He's a fantastic kick of the footy too, Breno.
I watched him 2 weeks ago, Jimmy. As you can see, he's doing the Ben Brown run up and he's back at the centre of the field.
I know, I'm puffed watching it.
He had a one step from 55 2 weeks ago and he slotted it on this bigger ground. So I certainly don't think the distance is a problem for him here. And he has sort of hit a pitch and wedge there. I think.
He's definitely he's hit the woodwork. Not a nice looking kick off the boot there. So as commentators, we've put the curse on him. Makes us look like we're absolute fools here and not knowing a thing we talk about.
This is where Joshy Andrews can step up. He attacked that pack there, and
Bulldogs player down.
There is a young Bulldogs player down here.
Bit of friendly fire, unfortunately.
Here's Christian Payne. He can be very reliable when he gets a footy in his area. He's a bit of a goal sneak as well as a half forward.
Well, Xavier Cameron's going to get it back. He's been chased down. He managed to get the handball. And it looks like it's been called high. It's been called high. That was 50-50, that one. It could have gone either holding the ball or a high tackle. Unfortunately for the Herman Park Tigers, it's gone a free kick to away the Bulldogs.
I'm not out to knock the umpires, Jimmy, but in a grand final, you've got to let those ones go. We've got to let the play go. Umpires have got to let the intensity be there in a grand final. There's nothing better. You see it in the AFL in the finals last night and on Thursday night with Collingwood. When the intensity's there in finals, it makes such a good game.
Yeah, that's it. As we see the ball, umpires called a ball up here. This will suit the Bulldogs to a T. Let the boys play, as they say in the bleachers there, Breno. Let the boys play. Young 100 gamer Jesse there had the kick partially smothered. As the big, slender man, McElraith, gets the handball forward to Jamie Morris. He's going to get it back here. It's a centering kick. It's danger for the Hermit Park Tigers. As who's down there?
Daniel Murtha's just taken that one. He sprayed the kick. Tigers clean up through Adam Fedor. He's looking for Xavier Cameron, or Josh Andrews gets his hands on the footy with a very fast Xavier Cameron. He uses his speed and sends it forward. He finds Callaway Parker, who can't get his hands on the footy as clean as he would have liked.
That was a fantastic spoil there. Callaway had all of that, and it's a great spoil there by the Bulldogs not to give away the free kick. Great spoil over the boundary line.
I think the Bulldogs might try and lock it in here a bit. Ooh, very lucky to not give away a free kick here by Dan Bailey there.
Oh, we've got a few bald headers running around there. Battle of the human meatballs, as you'd say, Brennan. Look at that. Not a hair product between them. That's good football. Good scrappy football. You love to see it in a grand final. This intensity feels like it's just lifted a notch there, Brennan.
Charlie Goodien contests for the footy there. I think Charlie Goodien's already shown that he's out to lead this side to a victory, because he's certainly having a crack today.
Brennan, I think you got what you wanted there. It seems that the whistle's been put away.
No, we've got a free kick there going the way of the Thuringowa Bulldogs, which is good to see. That was a good tackle and he's been rewarded for it. Dominic Marshall, he's got footy in hand. He's just looking for an option. I think they just want to settle it down a little bit here. And I think
that's a great mark.
Daniel Murtha there. No, Lockie O'Dwyer. He finds Stuart Guest in the middle. Jack Livingston, sorry. Livingston, he goes forward. He's looking for...
the Dogs have got one out the back here. The Tigers want to pick that up.
Chris Tidswell here. Very good user of the footy, as we've mentioned numerous times. And like I said before, Charlie Goodien, he was just high up on the wing, and he's worked so hard to get all the way back. And we've just had the emergency umpire has just made a call from the sideline, so I'm not too sure what's going on here.
I think the owner of the White Prado is yet to move their vehicle. Maybe that might have something to do with it.
So it's been reversed here. I think there's been a discrepancy on the interchange.
Interchange infringement, Breno. You don't see that a lot in local footy, but in the final series, the umpires are red hot on it.
You got to feel for the players with that, because it's actually not monitored throughout the season due to a shortage of umpires, but in the grand final it is. So a slight slip up by Joel Dwyer there that tried to come onto the field, and unfortunately he was called for it. But you know, the footy gods have spoken, and the Bulldogs have sent it back into their forward 50.
Big throw there. Oh, has there been a free kick? No, it's been a snap-on goal, and it looks like it's gone straight through the middle.
Charlie Goodien with another shot on goal, and
that is a great captain's goal.
He's put that one through. He's really stepped up today, Charlie Goodien. He's having a really good game. Most leaders for the Bulldogs have been playing well. Joel Newman, Charlie Goodien, Stuart Guest, he's a young leader. He's only a young player, but he's played enough games now that he's a bit of a leader, and I think they've all stepped up to the plate.
He's in good steadfast, I think, with the calibre of leaders at the Bulldogs club. It won't be long, and he'll be leading the team. He'll be turning into a great leader himself, the young man.
One player that has been a little bit quiet for the Bulldogs today is Ricky Sullivan. I haven't seen too much of him, but I'm sure with the footy IQ and the experience that he's got, he'll find his way into this game. And that'll be half time. The Bulldogs 5 goals, 6-36 leads the Hermit Park Tigers 1 goal, 3-9. The Hermit Park Tigers did respond there early in that second quarter, but I think the Bulldogs, as we mentioned numerous times throughout the call, Jimmy, have shown that they've got that bit extra experience, and they've managed to have the answer coming back that way.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm going to have to score that one to the Bulldogs again that quarter. It was a great tussle. Like you said, the Tigers did respond, but I think the class and the leadership from the Bulldogs just seemed to be a bit superior there. Tigers seemed to be a bit wasteful and a bit scrappy in defence, not being able to man up exactly the way they would like and in time. So Bulldogs had a bit of uncontested footy forward of halfway, which they'll like. The boys will go into their huddles at half-time, reset, and will come out for what should be a cracking second half of football.
So the Tharangao Bulldogs going in with a reasonably comfortable lead, but I don't think it's in a grand final. It's not going to be too comfortable for them. What's the message that Coach Brett Hughes is going to give the Bulldogs at half time?
I just think Hughesy will say to the boys, just keep the pressure up, be relentless, keep doing what you're doing. Don't stray away from the goal or the team plan here. The Bulldogs players, they've been here before. They're reigning premiers. He's going to have full belief in each and every single one of those men in that side, and looking to come out here and just to carry on the momentum at half time. What do you think about the Tigers, Breno? What does Coach Max Tink have to do? Where can the spark come from? What's the response?
Well, the words that I got from Max Tink earlier in the week when I had a bit of a chat to him to get some information to do this commentary was that he has a game plan that he feels can beat the Bulldogs, but he just needs the boys to execute it. So I think he's going to go back in there. He's going to put the game plan on the board, and he's just going to talk to them about areas that they can improve so they can get back to doing what they want to do. Win or lose. No draws after today, Jimmy, but win or lose, I think Max is probably a little bit disappointed if they don't get to what he wants them doing. I don't think they're executing the game plan that he wants.
Is it time to sacrifice a player and put someone on Joel Newman, do you think?
Well, that was a big question before the game, Jimmy. Do you tag him from the start? I've seen many teams in the AFL Townsville League that have tried so many different things on Joel Newman. They've tried to rough him up. They've had their bigger players come through and try and put a bit of heat and a bit of body work into him, and that doesn't seem to faze him. So maybe a tight, really annoying tag is the answer. But when you sacrifice a player to go and tag Joel Newman, you might unleash a Ricky Sullivan or a Chris Tidswell. So you've got to be very mindful of making those decisions. But he'd be up around the 15 touches mark. He's certainly got to be someone that the Tigers are talking about at half time.
Yeah.
Likewise, I think Callaway Parker has been reasonably quiet today from his usual standard, but you could see in that quarter he tried to get around the footy a little bit more. Xavier Cameron got around the footy a little bit more. So I think to protect the lead, I think the Bulldogs are going to probably be talking about those two players a little bit.
Yeah, I think the message from the start of the game from the Bulldogs to the Tigers would be, don't let Callaway have his own way. He's electric when he gets the footy. He's electric around it. They want to curb that as soon as possible, and they have. They've looked after him, so to speak. He hasn't had it all his own way. It's been a lot of bumps off the ball. They've made it. It's ugly. It's ugly footy, but it's working football. And it doesn't matter if you win pretty or you win ugly. A win's a win, and that's what the Bulldogs are going to aim for this afternoon.
I think the Tigers. I think it's pretty difficult to really put down any changes in their forward line because they haven't had too many opportunities going forward. They've only had the 4 scoring shots, so I think the message is probably more around the midfield and the half-back, that penetration. I think they're trying to get it forward too deep, so they probably need that 1 or 2 extra kicks to get it over that centre line and then try and get that deep inside 50 and give their forwards a real chance. I think that's where they've probably lacked.
Yeah, that's going to play into the Bulldogs' hands, just those long bomb entries inside forward 50. The Tigers really need to look at, you know, the likes of Robert Reeves and Josh Andrews hard on the lead. You know, as a defensive player, you're only going to stand in the hole in their way one. They're bustling big bodies. Tigers need to just look at using it a lot better forward of halfway. And, yeah, we'll see how they can respond here.
We're just going to go to a short break. We'll be back in 5 minutes. Today's coverage is brought to you by RMS Engineering and KX Pilates. Welcome back to the coverage of the RMS Engineering Senior Men's Grand Final here at Riverway Stadium. Jimmy, it's a great day for footy. There's no breeze. it's just the standard of footy is probably not what we were hoping to come into today. I think it's been pretty scrappy out there. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, it's like you said, Brenno, it's a beautiful day. It's a balmy 29 degrees here in sunny North Queensland. Slight breeze from the north, maybe at about 5 to 8 knots. I don't understand the... maybe it's the nerves. Maybe it's the grand final nerves and the pressure getting to the boys. But it has been a little bit subpar, if you will, the display of football we've seen. So, but that's what grand finals are. You know, it's a scrap fest sometimes, and it's like I said before. It doesn't matter how you win. If you win pretty or win ugly, a win's a win, and beers taste better from a trophy.
Yeah, I think a lot of the Bulldogs have got a reasonable lead, considering it hasn't been too many scoring shots, but I think a lot of their scoring opportunities has certainly come from the turnover that the Tigers have provided. Definitely need to slow the game down and try and maintain possession. We said it at the start of the game, and it hasn't really happened. So I think if the Tigers can try and maintain a bit of the possession and slow the game down, well, then that affects the way that the Bulldogs attack, because they're certainly beating them on the turnover. Yeah,
the Dogs have been quite lethal on the turnovers. Tigers are a bit too slow to man up and get behind the ball again, which has turned out to hurt them. Max Tinkle would have addressed that at the half-time in the huddles, so we'll see what the Tigers can do. They've got to be quick. They've got to man up. They've got to put the pressure on when they've got the footy, but also pressure when they don't have the footy. You know, the footy is played in two mindsets. We have the footy. We don't have the footy. What can you do to get it? What can you do to earn it? The Tigers there in their huddle there, talking about what needs to be done to rectify this grand final. It's early days. It's only half time. There's plenty of football left, and for the Tigers, the score hasn't blown out too bad. They've been let off a few times there, but the Tigers have also rued their missed opportunities. So the Tigers will want to address that fairly quickly. Another fast start is what the Tigers will want. The Bulldogs will just want to keep putting pressure on the ball carriers, and they'll want a bit of stop-start football, I think, Breno.
Well, I think if the Bulldogs keep letting the Tigers do what they're doing and letting them kick it down the line, that put the ball into positions where they can force that turnover, they're going to be happy to continue to do that, because the way that the Tigers' backline's lining up, it's probably allowing that the Bulldogs can get that quick entry going into their forward line. So they're happy to try and win this game off the turnover.
Yeah, I think that the Dogs there, the key for the Dogs is just to keep that forward pressure in. The Dogs can lock it in there. They'll do well. Coach Brett Hughes would have addressed the boys at halftime and just said, boys, here's the plan. Just keep doing what you're doing. Forcing the Tigers to make uncomfortable decisions, long down the line to 50-50s. The Dogs will just want to do more of that. The Tigers might need to bite off a bit more of the corridor, I feel, Breno. It might be time to, young Callaway or young Xavier Cameron, bite off those kicks through the corridor. Quickest way to goals through the middle, and we'll see if they can respond there with a few set shots on goal through maybe Robert Reeves or their captain at the moment, Josh Andrews.
Yeah, I think the Bulldogs are really going to try and open this game up here. They've got an advantage where they can really, try and take the game on and put it away early. I think if they can get a couple of early clearances here, Brock Wilson going into the ruck, they've got Jack Wynn and Tidswell coming out of the midfield. If they can get the ball in their hands and get that quick movement going forward, as we can see, I'm not sure if the viewers can see, but the Tigers are all standing 1 to 2 metres off their man. They're standing behind.
Need to be tighter. Just a bit of touch and feel. Put an elbow on their chest and just let them know that, hey, this game of footy is not done yet. And as we see the start of the second half there, and the Bulldogs seem to have got the clearance there through number 4, Jack Wynn.
Stuart Guest, every time the ball's gone forward, he's certainly been around it. That one obviously wasn't his best play.
Oh, no. Now's not the time to be cute, unfortunately, there, boys.
I'm going to be straight up and honest there, Jimmy. And I like Daniel Morgan, but that was a terrible kick
They've been let off.
Line.
They have been let off. No one was kicking around the corner cute as you're 4.5 goals down starting the second half. Take the mark, push back, look for your option. As the Tigers look to restart through Locks Alicious, Adam Fedor. That was a great spoil. I'm not sure who spoilt that, but that was a great spoil. Would have done the great Spud Frawley proud, the Golden Fist. He would have loved seeing that.
Spoil come from young Ben Matthews, another young player that's stepped up and managed to string a fair few senior games for the Tigers this year. But I think when Brock Wilson goes into the ruck up against this McElwraith, he's just too big and strong for him. So the Tigers, they don't have a backup ruckman today, but do you look at just playing another midfielder?
Yeah, definitely. I think it might be time just to pull the midfield, but I'm not sure who the Tigers can use. You know, maybe, young Sullivan, or, they've got Tommy Lyon in there now, or Thomas Keating. He goes a bull at a gate. Don't get in his way. Maybe it might be time for him to start to take a few names, I think.
Sean McCreath.
Oh, there should be a block there.
Sean McCreath,
Yes.
he's done a really good job in the ruck this year, and I'm not going to put him down for his effort today. He's had a crack, but I just think the matchup is a little bit difficult for him coming up against the big, strong Brock Wilson. Speaking of Brock's just had a kick, and he's put it inside 50 and created another 50-50. So he'll hold out and let the full forward take the ruck here. Dominic Marshall, he's going to try and get hands on the footy early, but Fedor gets hands to it, and the Tigers are trying to get it out of here. They don't want to let the Bulldogs get the first look in this quarter. That would just be heartbreaking for them. But it comes through Jack Livingston, but he's put it through for a behind.
Young Stuart Guest there, being electric around that stoppage there. He seems to be getting a lot of it. He's an in and under player. Just seems to always pop out under the tackle and manage to get a disposal away, whether it be a kick or a handball.
Yeah, look, that's just another one. I've spoken about it so much today, Jimmy. I've spoken about the Tigers' kickouts, and that's just another poor kickout. I think their decision-making from their kickouts needs to be better. Their execution from their kickouts needs to be better. There's nothing wrong with taking the short option and letting the footy come to them. But trying to go down the line, especially when you've got such a young team like the Tigers do, and probably undersized with a few of their matchups, they're making it hard with the high ball coming in. Yeah, the Tigers have been let off 3 times here. The Dogs not being able to put one through the high diddle. So the Tigers look to rebound out of half-bait. That is a nothing kick, unfortunately. That went to no one's advantage except for the Bulldogs there. He's kicked it straight down the throat of Max Newman there, and Max Newman, he's got a thumping boot. He's just got to put it straight back in there and create a repeat entry for him. You've got to be very mindful
Tigers players
of
go
where
to
you
ground.
kick the footy. Joel Dwyer, he's just had a shot, but missed that one to the left.
Another let off. Come on, Tigers, you need to exit D50 here and get it forward to halfway through Callaway Parker. He's the man. Take the meterage, get it long. And he doesn't the opposite.
And once again, I don't know how many times I can mention it, but the kickouts, they let him down against the Bulldogs in the first final, and it's let him down again today.
They finally put one through.
They can't tidy this up. Like, the Bulldogs have given them the chances. They've 5 goals 10. They haven't converted very well today. Tigers are in a position here where they're lucky that it's not a much bigger deficit. Yeah, that's exactly right. It's not gone 4 minutes into the third term, and the Bulldogs have had 4 scoring shots, resulting in 1 goal 3. Yeah, look, it's alarm bells now for the Tigers. They need to pull the trigger here. They need to do something. They need to take those little marks, those 25, 30-metre kicks, reset. They need to have options presenting. That's the key, I think, Breno. None of this, there's no good wasting time taking the mark when you've got no options presenting forward, and you're just going to go long down the line to a 50-50. That's going to play into the Dogs' favour. Callaway Parker wraps up Jack Wynn there to create another 50-50 stoppage, but as you see, there's no one's moving up to create more numbers around the footy, and I think that's what the Tigers have to do. Whereas the Bulldogs are liking this space that they're being given. If they can just get that one early kick and get the clearance, well then they've got the numbers around the ground. Yeah, there's a few solar panels getting around out there. There's a bit of sunscreen, bit of zinc getting around there on the boys. As we see a clearance here from young Jesse McClay, gives it back to Jamie Morris, who bumps it forward to Chaos Ball, but the Tigers played in front. Benny Matthews with second and third efforts here. That's really good. That's what we want to see from the Tigers. The Bulldogs have had the answer, but Lockie Clark gets it out there. He finds Jesse McClay. Jesse McClay's looking for an option. He sends it forward. He's got young Ben Matthews underneath the full of the footy, but he can't get his hands to it. Tigers want to scrap this forward through Morgatron there, through Morgs. It's a snap. They've just got no one back in the square. No. They need to get it to a position where they can go deep forward and having a vacant goal square and letting the Bulldogs sit in there, especially this guy, Ricky Sullivan, who's a great user of the footy. You're not going to get a look in all day. So they've really got to tidy that up. Stop them dump kicks going forward. There's a great tackle there applied by Adam Fedor, and he lets him know. It's all love and war in a grand final, ladies and gentlemen. You'll love to see it. Means there's a bit of feeling in this, and there is a lot of feeling in this. The Tigers do not like getting beaten by the Dogs, and I'm sure the Dogs, who haven't been beaten this year, they don't like losing either. The Dogs are on a pretty hefty winning streak here. Obviously reigning premiers, and they're undefeated this year. they want to keep that going and they want to look to go back to back. They've certainly got back to the heyday that they once had, 2011 and 12, 13, where they were quite a classy side. So they want to try and get back to that. They're looking like it.
I thought he got the handball away, but the umpire didn't see it that way. It's umpires know best. A reward there for effort from the junior.
It's Callaway Parker, the one that they want the footy in his hands. If he can get the footy in his hands, things can happen.
It seemed like a non-event, that entry to forward 50 there as the Dogs rebound through Chris Tidswell.
The Bulldogs just look like they've got numbers everywhere here. This is looking like it could be danger signs for the Tigers, because the Bulldogs have got numbers.
There it is
every
again.
time they get it outside of their defensive 50, they've got numbers everywhere. So the Tigers really need to try and tidy this up, as the Bulldogs look like they're about to have another shot on goal.
This is going to get ugly, Breno.
Charlie Goody, and he's going to have another crack, and he looks like he's kicked it. He's kicked his third for the day, and he's really starting to lift his team, Captain Charlie Goody, and he's starting to get this, the Bulldogs to the point that they want to be, and they've got a bit of a comfortable lead here now, Jimmy.
Yeah, it's like I said, Breno, it's getting ugly. The Dogs have I think they've had 6 scoring shots there, and it's only been 7.5 minutes into the third term. The Tigers, when they looked to move forward, it was just a nothing kick. It was a dump kick to half forward, and handled very well by the Dogs, and they responded well through the likes of Chris Tidswell and Stuart Guest, and it's resulted in a goal.
Jimmy, you got to looking at the Bulldogs and Tigers. We've spoken about it already. The experience. You had a late out today in Jason DeBetta going out, and you're losing your most experienced player that you've got when you lose Jason DeBetta. He's kicked 500 senior goals. He's played 210 or whatever it is, or 211 senior games. You got a player by the likes of Troy Ferrier, who's actually the runner today. Is he one that maybe they should have brought in just to bring that little bit extra experience in times like this where they need an old head out there?
Oh, I think, unfortunately for them, Jace DeBetta being a late out, Troy Ferrier actually played in the reserves grand final, and he hadn't played a lot of footy this year, Ferrier. He's still silky smooth. He's like a Cadillac. He just drives around doing his own thing. He's a fantastic footballer. I'm pretty sure you've got to fuel him with lead additive unleaded fuel. That's how old the guy is, but he lets the football do the talking. I think if Ferrier had a bit more football under his belt this year, they could have looked to bring someone in like that. But as I said, it's a laid out through Jace DeBetta, a lot of experience, and their captain.
Tigers just letting themselves down here with a lot of skill errors. If they can tidy that up and kick the next couple of goals, they'll go into the last quarter with enough confidence. But if they can't tidy that up soon, it's going to it could get ugly very quickly.
Might be party time for the Bulldogs if they keep this up in the last term. The Tigers just haven't looked damaging going forward whatsoever. They've looked like they're just barely hanging on in defensive 50. The Dogs seem to, to use their ball magnets a lot better than the Tigers at the moment, Breno. As you can see now too, like attacking 50, the Dogs have set up 3 players just outside of 50, and they are completely unmanned. So any defensive exiting kick from the Tigers outside forward 50 will just be intercepted.
And that's why they've got so many scoring shots compared to the Tigers, Jimmy, because they're just getting repeat entries based off the skill error of the kicks coming out.
Yeah, we got a player down here. Looks like this is Xavier Cameron. Bit of contact there in the contest. It was a bit messy there, scrapping forward. He seemed to be shoveling it forward. He might have copped one for his troubles. It looks like he'll be getting to his feet very shortly.
Tigers are not at the point yet where they just need to take the play on. They just need to start putting some scoreboard pressure on. But if they don't start doing that soon, they're just going to have to start, taking the play on every time they get the footy. So it's time for the Tigers to get a bit of a wriggle on, I think.
Yeah, they're not going to have much of an option, Breno, as this quarter gets later, as the time ticks away on this quarter, unfortunately. They're going to have no choice but to pull those triggers and need a lot of things to go well for them.
Just got a stoppage in play here.
No, it's continued, I guess.
Tommy Lyon has played on. He's gone down the wing. He's looking for an option. This is probably the best they've looked so far, but again, they just couldn't get their hands on the footy. And the Bulldogs have just got 3 or 4 numbers
unmarked
running through the midfield.
Just loopy handballs over the top. It's a great tackle there applied by Callaway Parker. He's been rewarded too.
Yeah, incorrect disposal there. You got to pay the effort. think that was Jack Livingston that tried to get the kick away there, and he's
50.
been marked for another 50. So Bulldogs giving away two 50-metre penalties in this game.
Well, Hughesy won't be happy with that. Coach Hughes, he will not like that.
Callaway Parker plays on. He looks to go to Josh Andrews straight away, but Josh just can't get his hands on the footy once again. Ricky Sullivan, I said it at halftime, Jimmy, if he starts to come into the game, he's had 3 or 4 touches so far here this quarter.
Oh.
Danger times if he's getting his hands on the footy, because he's not going to let you down when he uses it.
Nah, he's an exceptional user of the football. As we see a mark there taken by 100-gamer Jesse McClay, just forward to halfway. Hits up teammate Tommy Lyon, the man that has muscles on his forehead.
Tommy Lyon actually didn't play last week in the elimination final due to a groin injury. So good to see that he's been able to get up and ready for today's game.
As we see, it's a free kick. Have they paid advantage? Advantage needs to be paid, I would have thought, if it's a free kick to the Tigers.
No advantage paid.
No advantage. Oh, and it went through for a goal too. Oh, no.
It's not necessarily a bad thing here, though, Jimmy, because I think it's Josh Andrews that's going to go back, and standing in as captain today, if he can go back and slot one, that could be the one that gets him rolling.
They without a doubt, the Tigers definitely need this, and none more important than a captain's goal right now. Josh Andrews, over to you, mate. Send it through.
It's a good kick.
That's a great looking kick. It's straight through. The goal umpire's arched its back.
See, Jimmy, I'm with footy. I love the emotion of footy. That's where you've got to get up and about. You've got to let your teammates know, okay, this is the one that we needed. We've got the hoodoo off our back now. Let's follow up with another one and another one. Yeah,
I expected to see a bit more energy there after the goal was kicked from the Tigers, Breno. That might be a bit of an alarm bell there for the Tigers. I hope they don't think that this game is done and dusted. Funny things can happen. There's still a lot of football to be played. So that might be the spark that lights the fuse for the Tigers. Let's see what they can do. We've got Callaway Parker. The Tigers have made the change and put Robert Reeves in as ruckman.
This is what we're talking about. Just put that extra body in there. You got a bigger body, but
it's a great tap.
He does need to compete. Bulldogs get it into the hands of Charlie Goody, and he's been very potent around goals. And he spots up Lockie O'Dwyer, who's going to go back for another shot on goal. He's already kicked one today. He's had 3 opportunities, and he's going back for his 4th look at goal. He's certainly one that's put himself into contention for the best on ground medal today. Yeah,
he worked hard, Charlie. He got that much free space. He could have stopped and tied his shoelace up.
I think Charlie Goodien has actually really impressed me today, Jimmy. He's played like a real leader. He's had a lot of the footy up in the forward line. He's kicked 3 goals. I think he's had a really good game so far.
As we see that set shot on goal go through for a behind, another let off for the Tigers. Only 40 points. 7 goals, 13, 55 to 2 goals, 3, 15. That is just not a kick you want to do.
Don't know how many times I can say it, Jimmy. I think there needs to be a message that's got to be sent out to the Carl Neville and Adam Fedor that are taking the kick-outs and say, all right, boys, we're going to have to start looking for a short option and just get the footy in our hands.
Lockie O'Dwyer's laced that straight out in front for another set shot. Is that Jack Livingston?
Yes,
yep, Jack Livingston.
Jack Livingston.
A great contested mark there. Slight angle. I'll tell you what, Brenner, if he puts this one through, it's going to be a knife in the heart for the Tigers, I feel. It's going to be very hard to come back.
It certainly hasn't been the quarter that they've come out of halftime wanting. And looks like
another
he's put that
let
one
off
to the left.
Now
Bulldogs have had this problem all year. I've watched a few of their games where they've kicked, had a lot of scoring opportunities, but haven't really converted with the goal. As the Tigers just look to go long down the line again from the kick out, Bulldogs have got numbers, and Joel Newman takes a
There he is again. The go-go gadget arms in Joel Newman. That's a great tackle. It's been rewarded.
Jess McClay working really hard.
I love the way he plays his footy.
He's working really hard here. He's had a couple of tackles. He's got his hands on the footy a few times. He's playing like a man that doesn't want to lose this grand final.
No, he tackles like a bull at a gate. He's a man possessed, Jesse. He plays well out of his weight division. And we see Daniel Morgs take an uncontested mark on the wing. What can he do with it? A little chip kick into space there. And who's there again? Is that Joel Newman? It appears Joel Newman. Ooh, tackle there. We see a throw in. Just forward a halfway for the Tigers. Tigers looking to reset there, probably get a better forward entry than they have been throughout this game so far.
You can see looking from centre of the ground down to the Tigers' back line. The Tigers have got a few spares there, so they're clearly pushing. The Bulldogs are clearly pushing a few of their forwards up around the contest, which is getting them those extra numbers around the contest. So maybe it's time that those Tigers defenders push up and follow them.
Bit of a stalemate here, just forward to halfway. Tigers need to start getting a bit emotional, I think. Get a bit of feeling back into this game. You know, get a bit of that blood pumping. There's a plan. There's no next week, guys. This is a grand final, lads.
Joel Dwyer takes a mark at the centre of the ground. He spots up Ricky Sullivan, who is a great user of the footy, and he looks for Charlie Goody and just puts it out into space. Let Charlie Goody and use his wheels, and he just so calmly spots up Chris Tidswell.
Paid the mark. Oh, the Tiger crowd is unhappy. The mark's been paid. I don't think he had
plays
a lot
on.
of it. We need a big spoil here. Could have given away a free kick there. Very unlucky. Dogs there to get a free kick. I thought it might have been over the shoulder. Just see a dump kick, exit D50.
Robert Reeves gets his hands on the footy. He tries to find Lockie Clark, who gets it, and he uses his wheels to get it out. But again, they just get the pressure from the Bulldogs, just gets on top of the Tigers.
I don't think I've ever seen so many over-the-shoulder handballs in a game of football, Brenno, and they never work. Only if you're a Dacos.
That's a really good kick by Adam Fedor. He took the game on there. He spotted up Tommy Lyon, who's now gone to Cale Neville.
It's all right, it's in front.
Just missed the kick a little bit. Cale Neville, he needs to put the wheels on here. Get it away.
Needs a bit of help here.
And he gets it back. He's going to look for Josh Andrews at deep forward. Josh Andrews comes at the footy, gets his hands to it, but no, it goes to ground. But he lays a big tackle.
And the umpire's going to call high. Umpire's going to call high. It's unfortunate, being a big man, you can tend to be a little bit clumsy sometimes. I'm not sure. I didn't see it as well as the umpires. The umpires have got the best position.
But once again, we've got Joel Newman with the footy in hand.
Being everywhere.
He's had a really good game today. Just without having to break too many lines, he's just been there to get his hands on the footy, and every time he's done that, he's used the footy very well.
Yeah, that is a tunnelling. That is not something you want to see. Very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. Especially on a young, small guy called Jesse McClay there. He's glad to see he's all right. You don't want to see that in the game.
18-minute mark of the third quarter. The Thurngale Bulldogs, 7 goals, 14-56, lead the Hermit Park Tigers 2 goals, 3-15. Thurngale Bulldogs have certainly given the Tigers an opportunity, but a few skill errors and an inability to get the ball forward has cost the Tigers a little bit here.
Yeah, it's Tigers have been, I hate to say it again, but been let off. The score could have been very ugly if the Dogs could have kicked straight. Oh, you see a rough contest there. Jesse getting laid out. I don't think there was much in it. Oh, he's gone down. I think that was a Tiger player pushing the opposition player there.
He was actually just trying to help Jesse up there,
I think he was, yeah. I don't think there was any malice in it. And Jesse's been awarded the free kick. Was that the siren, Brenno?
That was the siren. So the siren's gone. Callaway Parker's got the ball in hand.
He's a big kick. The only guy on the
out.
field that can take the distance, I feel.
Oh, I think this is a little bit too far at this point, but Callaway's certainly not shy of going.
He's untaping the knee. He doesn't need any restrictions whatsoever. I reckon he's going to go with the barrel. What do you think, Brenno?
I think it's the only option, Jimmy.
I'd love to see a barrel in a grand final.
See, my concern here is actually Jesse McClay that's down. You know, playing his 100th game today, he's had a really good quarter, and if the Tigers are to have a really big fourth quarter and come back in this one, they're going to need him.
As we see Callaway Parker take it, he's about 68 metres out from goal. He can't play on. The siren has sounded.
If he kicks this, Jimmy,
it's going to be a torp.
Amazed.
Well, it is a torp.
He's actually kicked that one further sideways than he did forward.
He was just giving that ball back to the umpires and letting the teams reset for three-quarter time. As we see the Bulldogs lead the Hermit Park Tigers 7 goals, 14-56 to the Tigers 2 goals, 3-15. Ladies and gentlemen, it is three-quarter time. The teams will be in their huddles and join us in a few moments for the cracking final term for the 2023 RMS Engineering AFL Townsville Grand Final.
welcome back to the 2023 AFL Townsville Men's Senior Grand Final. The Thurangale Bulldogs 7 goals 14-56 leading the Hermit Park Tigers 2 goals 3-15. Jimmy, the Bulldogs probably haven't really executed the game to the way they really wanted to. They've actually been a little bit messy and a little bit sloppy, but I think the Tigers' skill errors that they've made has really allowed the Bulldogs to command the lead. You can see in the scoring, 7 goals 14. The Bulldogs haven't had great looks on goals. They've made it quite difficult for themselves, but I think the Tigers are in a position where the Bulldogs probably could have made this scoreline a lot uglier for the Tigers. But the Tigers have probably come out sleeping a little bit this grand final.
I think, detriment to the Bulldogs' accuracy at the moment. Yeah, the scoreline could have been very unhealthy for the Tigers. Bulldogs being a bit wasteful, not taking their opportunities, but they've had a lot of them, and it shows too. Like, just to repeat forward 50 entries, I think back to back, I think they're getting 4 to 5 to 6 repeat forward entries, and the Tigers kickouts, they just can't exit D50 at the moment, Breno, and it's not looking good. This could get very ugly, unfortunately, for the Tigers if they don't do something about this. Show a bit of fight, save a bit of face. That's what the message should have been at three-quarter time. Don't die wondering. There's no tomorrow, guys, and I think for the Bulldogs, Coach Brett Hughes, I think he'll be looking forward to golf on Monday.
Jimmy, I think the scary part is we're looking at 7 goals difference. 7 goals in a 20-minute quarter of football is doable, but the Tigers just haven't really threatened to show that they've got the ability to do that today. We've seen it. We've seen it last week. The Tigers had a really good second half against the Curra Swans, but it's things like this. They just get caught napping. They've been caught napping too many times today, and I'm going to call it early. Normally they say the first team to 80 is the winner. I think the Bulldogs are certainly going to be that, but with the difference that it is, I think the Bulldogs have just put the final dagger into the Tigers' hearts.
That is definitely not the start the Tigers needed. Coach Max Tink would have been very unhappy with that. It was just far too easy getting out of the middle there. The backline pressure there from the Tigers just seemed to be non-existent, as he wheeled around pretty much on a massive U-turn and snaps a great goal to, like you say, Brent, I think send the cup to the Thurangale Bulldogs this year.
I spoke to someone through the week, Jimmy, and I did say that I don't necessarily think that grand finals are always won by the most talented team. I think they're normally won by the team that has the right mentality and turns up on the day, and I think that's where the Tigers have been caught napping. They haven't turned up today. Their skill errors have let them down. Losing Jace DeBetta, their leader, he's been their leader since 2014, certainly hasn't helped, but I think you're going to need a few Jason DeBettas to pull this one back.
Yeah, he's called it deliberate. Unfortunately, I think it looks like it's bounced up off William Ball's shin. Not much you can do about there. Caught napping again. Allowed to play on was Lockie Dwyer, and he's wasteful. He's managed to sneak it in for a behind. Very lucky there for Lockie Dwyer. The result's still the same, a kick out for the Tigers through Cale Neville, so let's see what they can do here. They've got Daniel Morgan free on the top side, but they've gone to the short side. He's shaped for the barrel.
They're going to take the game on here. It's the only way to do it, but if they're going to do it, they need to put enough numbers around the fall of the footy, and that's
Daniel Murtha uncontested there.
Jack Wynn, he has footy in hand. He's looking for Dan Murtha. Dan Murtha can't get his hands to the footy. The umpire's blown a free kick going the way of
the Bulldogs.
Jordan Murtha, sorry. Jordan Murtha's going to go back for a shot at goal on this one, and be looking to put the 9th goal on the board for the Thurangale Bulldogs.
I think it'll be party time for the Bulldogs if he puts this through, Breno. Tigers just caught napping again. I'll admit, I think this has been a very poor performance from the Hermit Park Tigers. I don't think Coach Max Tink would have expected this, nor the supporters and the rest of the team, as we see the goal straight through from Murtha as the Bulldogs players get around to celebrate. Tigers need to stop this from getting away from them and put a bit of respect on the scoreboard now, I think.
Thurangale Bulldogs 9 goals 15-69 lead the Hermit Park Tigers 2 goals 3-15. I think it's party time for Thurangale now, Jimmy. This deficit's probably just a little bit too much to come back from.
It is, and like I said before, I think it's about respect now. The Tigers need to show a bit of fight. It may be too little too late, but put a bit of respect as we see a free kick for a holding go to Jesse McClay. The smallest player on the field, but has the biggest heart. This fella. I love the way he goes about his footy.
He's done it ever since he was a junior footballer. He's played the same way. You know, hasn't got a real penetrating kick, hasn't got a big kick, but his work ethic and the pressure that he brings is great. But you're going to need a few of those today. Lockie Clark with the footy in hand. He's looking for an option, but he hasn't really got him. Bulldogs are just getting numbers all around the footy.
There's 1 Tiger to 4 Bulldogs there.
And Townsville, he's just had 3 or 4 efforts there and kept going, which has kept the Bulldogs in possession of the footy through Lockie O'Dwyer, but he spots up Ben Matthews. Sorry, Henry
Stevens. Henry Stevens, yeah. That's
Tigers look like they've got a clear message to take the game on and play through the corridor here, but whether they've got the...
free kick not paid? Yes. I think that was a free kick. That was front-on contact. It's play on. Oh, I thought that was a mark. He's scrapping hard, Callaway, and Tigers have earned themselves a free kick through young Sullivan, I think.
I think we've just got an issue with numbers out here because we had that late change.
I think that's Sully.
I think it's coming through. Sullivan,
young Harry Sullivan.
It was the late call-up. He was playing in the reserves grand final today, but he got the call-up just before that to come and play seniors.
It's not a nice-looking kick off the boot, but it is a goal. It's registered as a goal. His name will go into the Townsville Bulletin, but unfortunately, I think it's going to be on the losing side.
So the Thurngale Bulldogs get their 10th goal on the... the Hermit Park Tigers get their 3rd goal on the board. 3 goals, 3-21, trailing the Thurngale Bulldogs 9 goals, 15-69. Haven't seen any real changes that have been made by the Hermit Park Tigers in regards to their personnel and positional changes. You know, we've seen Jamie Morris come into the midfield here to see if he can shake things up a little bit. We did see Robert Reeves go into the ruck, but we've got back to Sean McCreath. So the Tigers are backing in what they're doing, but I think they're just relying on not making so many skill errors.
There's the man again, Joel Newman, who's got 2 possessions in 2 seconds there, and he frees up Daniel Murtha, who punches it forward to... Oh, it's a great spoil there. Good contest there by the forward.
Stuart Guest again. Yeah. Around the fall of the footy. He's been there all day.
He loves it.
Dominic Marshall, but he's put that one out on the full. Didn't quite get balanced there.
Interesting to see how the Tigers respond now. I think the game is out of their grasp, but can they put a bit of respect back in this side, you know? Maybe just, play a bit of hard footy, play a bit of Tiger branded footy, the footy that they've got them to the grand final this year. So I'd like to see just, with 10 minutes or so to go, just to see the Tigers respond with that and not just give it the way of the Dogs. I think one more goal for the Dogs and she'll definitely be party time over Thurngale.
Now, one player that I thought has really stepped up in the second half, still hasn't had a lot of it, but he's probably racked up 10 touches for the half, is Ricky Sullivan, and we did speak about that at half time. He's a long-time player, coming towards the back end of his career, and I think he knew what he had to do this second half just to make that 20, I think it was 27-point lead that they had at half time increase, and it's certainly happened. Yeah,
it doesn't have to play a big role, but it's important nonetheless. I think he's been well. Joel Newman, their vice captain, has been instrumental in this. That man has been everywhere. The Tigers can't seem to catch him at all, as we see Lockie Dwyer unmanned.
Another one that's been really good today. He's had a lot of shots on goal. That one's not so good.
Another let off.
But he's had a lot of the footy in his hands. I think the Tigers are starting to show the sign of a bit of dejection on their face. But they've got to finish this game off. They've still got it in a position where they can make it look a little bit more respectable.
They've been let off. Oh, they're not a free kick in the back. No. As you see the Tigers try and shovel it forward there through Lockie Clark and Harry Sullivan. And there's the man, Jesse McClay's chased down. Oh, it's been called in the back, has it?
No advantage. It's the second time there's been no advantage paid here, so they're going to go back.
I guess they only play the advantage rule in rugby union, Breno.
A little bit worried about the distance of the kick here for Jesse McClay. I think this is where a couple of the Tigers forwards need to see if they've got some space and lead for him, because it's quite a big kick for him. I hope he proves me wrong and he goes back and kicks one, but I'd love to see a young fella kick a goal in his 100th game.
Yeah, a little bit of breeze behind his back. He's a fantastic kicker. Oh, why do I even bother saying that? He's kicked an absolute Falkenberg floater there, as we like to call it at Hermit Park. I don't think it's done one rotation.
Bulldogs look to just take the sting out of the game a little bit here. They're probably going to slow it down a little bit. If they can get the hands in the ball in the hands of Brock Wilson here, the big body, but no, they can't. Daniel Bailey picks it up. He just handballs over the shoulder looking for someone. It's come out.
That's Jasper.
Jasper DeFazio. He finds...
Oh, he's handballed to no one. He wasn't ready. Kale Neville, slick. Oh, he's taken the bounce.
He has actually tried his heart out today. I think he's been quite good. He's probably let me down from what I've seen in regards to a couple of the kickouts coming out of the square, but that's been clearly the game plan that they've had to execute. But he's certainly played his heart out today.
Yeah, I don't think the 200 gamers can die wondering that, like you said, Brenner, they've played well. They've played exceptional. They've tried. These young guys keep trying. We see Jesse McClay zigging and zagging, uses his left, looking for Robert Reeves.
Jimmy, halfway through the fourth quarter here, the game looks to be all sewn up. Early calls on the best on ground medal.
Oh, for me, it's Joel Newman, the management instrumental. See him stream away there.
I think for me, it could go either way of Joel Newman or even Charlie Goodien. I think with the goals that he's kicked and the play that he's impacted, he could certainly...
Lo and behold, we've just had an advantage been paid, and the Tigers have wasted it, Breno.
They've kicked it straight down the throat of Joel Newman.
Gee whiz. Bulldogs just looking to, slow it down a little bit here, enjoy it, get a few touches of the footy, a few uncontested marks. They know they'll be staying up well into the evening celebrating, as we see Jack Wynn take a mark on halfback. He's been good too, I think, Breno.
Yeah, he was really good in the grand final last year. I reckon he would have been close to 30, 35 disposals in the grand final last year. And I don't, from memory, I don't believe he actually got the medal last year. So
bit stiff.
A little bit stiff. He might get rewarded with it this year, but I think it's going to be pretty hard taking it out of the hands of Joel Newman or Charlie Goodien.
I think if Charlie gets it, because Joel Newman's been everywhere, he'll probably just intercept it in front of him.
Lockyer Dwyer's another one that can come into the contention for the best on ground. I think he's been quite good today.
Stocky little forward, isn't he?
There's Stuart Guest laying another tackle up in the forward line. They find Brock Wilson, who takes a mark, and umpire Grubber has called...
Yep, it's a mark.
No, yes, he's just called a mark.
I wasn't sure there. He might have been a bump ball, but he's paid the mark. The big fella's got down low enough, and good on him. Calling a teammate to lead. Tigers with a loose backman. They're letting Guest run through there. Seems like he kind of glitched there for a second.
Lockyer Dwyer gets the footy in his hands again. He just puts it on the boot. He's got Dominic Marshall there, but no, the umpires have made a call. Haven't signalled. I'm not sure what the call is. Looks like it's gone the way of the Bulldogs.
Bulldogs, yep.
Through Lockyer Dwyer. I think it might have been holding the man.
Yeah. A little bit of ill discipline there creeping into the Tigers. Oh, they've left. That's a great leg. That is an absolute arrow, Breno. That's a great kick, like I said.
That's one of the plays of the day. Plays of the day today, I think, Jimmy. That was a great leg, and he's spotted up Adam Bias, who is quite potent around goals. He's probably been a little bit quiet today. But
started off well, Bossy. He shapes to maybe just to put the sealer in, get the boys up and about. You listen to the crowd if he kicks this through. And it goes straight over the goal umpire's hat.
And this is going to be the first sign of celebration that you'll see from the Bulldogs. They know that they've got this one sewn up. You can see the disappointment coming from the Tigers bench.
I think here, if you're in the grandstands and if you want a drink, you'd better get to the bar now, because there's going to be a line-up in about 10 minutes, I'd say, full of Bulldogs players celebrating. And well-deserved too. The boys have played their absolute heart out today. Gone through this season undefeated. They've been the best team all year, and it shows. They're just... what they do to teams, put them under pressure, make them make silly mistakes, make them play the football that the teams don't want to play, and they make the teams go away from their game plan, and it showed today, Breno.
the Tigers come in with belief today. They knew that the Dogs are a force to be reckoned with. They knew that they're a very good side. You know, they're undefeated. But they come in with belief and confidence that if they execute, they'd be able to get the job done. But I think there's probably going to be a sense of disappointment from Coach Max at the Tigers, just because I don't think they've executed the way that they wanted to today. Not to take anything away from the Bulldogs. I think the Bulldogs have just been far too classy. But the Tigers certainly haven't been able to play their game of footy.
Gee whiz, they're handballing in a phone box here. I don't know what had a mark on half-back, just needed a clearing kick. But that just goes to show the Bulldogs have put them under pressure so much and made them go away from their game plan and not allow the Tigers to play the brand of footy that they know they can play, and that what got them into the grand final.
The sting's really been taken out of the game here, and as I say that, there's a big tackle.
Big tackle.
Here's Charlie Goody, and again, he's going to get back on his feet. He taps it on, but we're going to get a stoppage.
Bit of a shove over the line there.
Could be a free kick, but no.
Daniel Watson just making sure that the Hermit Park player went out of bounds. Don't like to see that. He's a junior. He's all right.
Can't say
I don't
that,
think he hit
Jimmy.
the fence.
You can't say that. When they're juniors and they're playing in senior football, they're senior players.
No,
they're not
that's
juniors
exactly
anymore.
right.
If they're still juniors, they shouldn't be playing. They're senior footballers when they're playing senior footy, and you got to expect them to play like men.
That's exactly right. But you don't want to see anyone go into the fence, so.
Not at all. You don't want to see any injury, especially at this late point of the game.
Oh, people work hard putting that fence up. As we see the Bulldogs there, through Gordy in there. An unmarked player in the centre there.
Ricky Sullivan.
There he is. That's
Puts it to the hot spot.
Oh,
Tigers clean up. We've got another free kick that's been paid the way of the Bulldogs, but it also looks like we've got a player that's gone down with an injury here.
knee. Is it a knee?
Is that Fedor that's gone down?
I think Watson's earned himself the free kick. He bodied the Hermit Park defender out early, got good positioning, and then copped one over the shoulder for his efforts there and earned himself a free kick.
Just watching that replay there, Jimmy, I'm not actually too sure what the free kick was paid for.
Oh.
There wasn't much in that one. Umpire Grubber has seen something that I certainly didn't see in that one.
Well, like we say, Brenner, the umpires have got better eyes than us sitting up here in the grandstand, so we can't question them too much. As we see Watson come in for, I think, maybe his second or third goal for the day?
Second for the day, I believe. Looks like a good kick.
That's over the hat of the goal umpire. Straight over the hat.
It's party time for Thuringowa here.
As the boys get around him.
11 goals, 15, 81. Lead the Hermit Park Tigers. 3 goals, 4, 22. The scoring shots tell the story of how bad this game could have been for the Hermit Park Tigers, but you got to take your hats off to the way that the Bulldogs have gone about their work today. They a few skill errors and a few things probably haven't gone the way that they wanted to, but they haven't lost their way, and they've just continued to dig in and managed to put the game away and put it on their terms.
Yeah, I just don't see how you can beat this Bulldogs side this year. They've been fantastic all year, and their record shows it. But even today, like you say, Bruno, with a bit wasteful up forward and stuff like that, but they haven't gone away from their game plan. They've put the points on the board. They just keep going and going and going. They work for one another, this team, and they're an exceptional team, and they're going to get the chocolates, and rightfully so today. Bulldogs have been exceptional.
Daniel Morgan goes back down the line. Tigers have gone down the line a lot today and probably just haven't been able to get on the other end of it. Trent.
They're there to mop the mess up again.
He spots up, I believe it's Livingston. No.
He's tried to step around, he's got out, he's managed to get himself out of the tackle there. That was Watson doing the work. It's going to go back to Morgs. Please, not a dump kick forward again.
Very rushed, but he's spotted up Josh Andrews, so one of his better plays for the day. He probably hasn't been able to get onto it the way he wanted to today, Daniel Morgan.
And that has been the tail of the tape, unfortunately. The Tigers just keep kicking it to the Bulldogs players, unfortunately.
In this second half, if it's not Joel Newman they've kicked to, it's Ricky Sullivan coming off that half-back line. I did notice early in the first half that it looked like Tigers were running a bit of a tagger on Ricky Sullivan, and he was quiet, but the second half he's had a good 12 to 15 touches, and it doesn't look like they're tagging him, so maybe there was a change made there, and that's got
You're
him
saying
off
they let
chain
the
a little
dog
bit.
off the leash, Breno?
You could say that. They've let the dog off the leash there.
Oh, and he's gone out and he's got himself, a dozen or so touches in the second half, and kudos to him as well. That's a great spoil there from the young fella in Henry Stevens. Tried and tried and tried. Dogs looking just to enjoy these last few moments in the grand final. You know what it's like, Breno. We both know what it's like. You're up ahead by 10 goals, and the dying moments of a grand final. The cup's yours. This is when you start to play really fun football. You start to hit them teammates' lace out, and things to go your way, it appears.
Oh, it's very enjoyable if you're on the winning side at this point. It's not the best feeling when you're certainly not winning. You're not a chance to win the game. It's sort of like, just get me the siren, get me out of here. I want to go.
Yeah.
As the Bulldogs look to go back for another shot on goal here.
Who was that from? That was from my man Joel Newman.
I think it's we spoke about the coaches early in the call, Jimmy. Obviously, Brett Hughes. He's going to go through and win his second premiership as a senior coach today. First premiership actually come as coach of the Herbert Park Tigers, and we know that the Tigers were devastated to see him go, but he thought that there needed to be a new voice at the Tigers, so he moved on and got an opportunity at the Bulldogs, and now he's a two-club premiership coach. And Max Tink was an assistant for Brett at the Tigers, and now he's the senior coach. So it's certainly the master versus the apprentice today, and I think the master's shown a few tricks to the apprentice.
Yeah, and I think the next time they play golf together, which might be in a week or two after the dust settles, Hughesy might be handing out a few more lessons as well. As we see a holding the ball be paid the way of the Tigers.
One thing I will say is I have played golf with both Brett and Max, and
who's better?
I've seen Brett's golf game. I think Max might be able to give him a few tips on the golf course. But
well, I think if Hughes is wearing his premiership medal to the golf, I don't think Max can argue too much.
We're just having a bit of fun with it now, Jimmy. We know the game's all sewn up. Thurngale Bulldogs are going to be crowned premiers for 2023. We're just waiting for the siren now, and you can see the players know that it's not too far away. A bit of a disappointing result for the Herbert Park Tigers, but you've got to be very impressed with what we've seen from the Thurngale Bulldogs today.
Oh, exactly right. They've been unstoppable, and like I mentioned before, I just don't see how a team can beat this side, this Bulldog side. They have been so strong. Out of bounds. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen.
There's the siren. The 2023 AFL Townsville Premiers, the Thurngale Bulldogs, 11 goals, 15-81, beat the Herbert Park Tigers, 3 goals, 4-22. And we can see the Thurngale supporters rush the field to join
that
in
may
the
be the reserve
celebrations.
teams, Breno. The reserve team won a thriller in extra time, and they've been sitting on Can Hill ever since 1 o'clock this afternoon. So the boys are primed and ready to come out there and enjoy the celebrations, and kudos to the Bulldogs team.
Yeah, you'd hate to be cleaning up this ground tomorrow morning, because I think the Thurngale Bulldogs are going to run amok with the dual premierships coming from their reserves and seniors. Jimmy, we've both been able to experience that before, where you have both teams win the premiership. It's
going to be a big few days.
It's going to be a big few days and a big night by the Thurngale Bulldogs. Commiserations to the Herbert Park Tigers. They were gallant. I think skill errors and a few things probably just hurt the Tigers, and you can see Max Tink down on the ground. He looks a bit dejected, but he does need to hold his head, keep his head held high. He's a rookie coach, and he's taken his team to the grand final. But then you've got to acknowledge, Brett Hughes. He's a two-time premiership coach now. There's not too many coaches in Townsville that can say that they've won two
that's right.
senior premierships, and I think Brett's now just sort of shown what type of coach he is, and got the Bulldogs up to a point where they were ready to go today. Yeah,
it was a fantastic coaching effort from Brett Hughes. Not to take away from Max Tink, it is his first year as a senior coach, and the age-old saying goes, you've got to lose a final to win a final. I think Max will be better for it. That takes away nothing from Hughes. He's done an exceptional coaching role all year with this team, and like I said before, I just can't see how you can beat a side like this, Breno. The Bulldogs have been exceptional. and the proof's in the pudding. You know, running out 10-goal winners in the grand final, back-to-back premierships for Thuringowa.
So we've already spoken a little bit about the best on ground, Jimmy. What's your final thoughts?
I'm gonna go with legs 11, Joel Newman, the vice captain. He had plenty of it. He's my pick for the best on ground. I think he'll take it away. The man was instrumental in that first half, just intercepting everything, and his rebounds out of D50 was great as well. You know, hitting targets. I can't see how. Oh man, there was a lot of players there. But I think I'm going to go with Joel Newman. He's my man.
Just before we wrap it up, we'll keep you tuned in for the presentations. You should be able to hear the microphones. Before we wrap it up, I think I'm going to go with Charlie Goodian. I'm a betting man, Jimmy, and I'm going to take the odds on this one. I think he was tremendous today. I think what he did up forward, not only his ability to kick a few goals, but just getting high up the ground and getting his hands on the footy and then using it really well. And being able to push forward, I think he really set the tone and he led from the front for the Bulldogs today. So
bit of a captain's knock, you reckon?
I think he played very well. Notable mentions has got to go to Lockie O'Dwyer. He was very good. And Jack Wynn, I thought he was solid.
The Merthyr boys both played pretty good roles today too.
Yeah, absolutely. For the Tigers. I think from the Tigers, I think Jesse McClay really stood up for me today. I think the Bulldogs done an absolutely fantastic job on Callaway Parker because he's a great talent. He's a very talented footballer, but I think they negated him quite well today. So thank you very much, Jimmy. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you very much for having me, Breno.
We'll take a break and let the presentations get set up, and we'll come back for the presentations. Today's coverage has been brought to you by RMS Engineering.
One. Ladies and gentlemen, we will proceed with today's presentation of the RMS Senior Grand Final. Firstly, a huge congratulations to both teams for a fantastic season and great game of footy. Can I have a round of applause for both teams? Thanks. Before we do move into today's game presentation, we do have a special presentation for two very special people who have contributed a lot to Townsville football over many decades. So this year, AFL Queensland has inducted two Townsville people into the AFL Queensland Hall of Fame. The first one, from the Townsville Bulldogs, is John Finn. I'd like just to recognise John Finn. Thank you, John, and thank you very much for all your work you've done for Townsville footy over 30 or 40 years, or 50 years. Thank you, John. Just stay here for a second. Now, can I ask also Hayden Butler, son of Rico Butler, to the stage for the recognition of Rico Butler also into the AFL Queensland Hall of Fame from the Garbutt Magpies. Can we have a huge round of applause for these two great gentlemen? Thank you very much. Now can I please introduce Managing Director of RMS Engineering, Rich McDonald, to help me with today's presentations. We'd like to thank RMS for their support over a decade here in AFL Townsville, so thank you, Richard and Beth. We wouldn't be able to have the game without the umpires, so I'll get Rich to help us present today's green team, led by our field umpires, Michael Wilkins, Andrew Grubber and Brodie Kemp. Boundary umpires Mark Goebel, Connor McMahon, Caden Knudsen and Noah Ward. And our goal umpires Cheryl Gray and Warren Derrick. And our emergency umpire for all three games today, Ian Sparrow. Congratulations on your great season and today's appointment. Did a great job. Congratulations and thanks again for your efforts. Can I ask Hayden Butler to come back up the stage to present the Best on Ground medal, the Rico Butler medal. Today's Rico Butler medal goes to number 11 from the Townsville Bulldogs, Joel Newman.
Just want to start by thanking the Tigers. Always a great battle, and same again today. You know, every time we come up against you guys, you give it your all, and I'm going to feel pretty sore for the next few days because you always have a fair crack. So well done on a great season, and looking forward to seeing you back here next year. Thanks to our boys, what an amazing season, undefeated. Absolutely love playing footy with all you boys over the year, and looking forward to seeing how far we can go again next year. And not going to worry about that till after the next few days, though, because I have a couple of beers. between now and then, I reckon. Thanks to Dan, Richie for coming up, Richie McDonald, the sponsors of the league. I really appreciate that and do for everything for AFL Townsville. So thanks everyone. Cheers.
Well done, Jolie. Now can I kindly invite Max Tink to say a few words on behalf of the Herman Park Tigers. Thanks, Max.
I'd just like to start by thanking everyone who came out to support us today, both the Bulldogs and the Tigers. Look, I wish we could have given you a better game because the crowd certainly would have been reflective of a great audience. So thank you to everyone who came out today to support both footy clubs. Obviously, the scoreline was probably indicative of how the game went. Dogs too slick, always very deserving winners, outstanding season. We've got a few things to work on. We've got a young group, so we'll come back, we'll try to be better. But look, very deserving of the honours today, and obviously Jolie played fantastic and thoroughly deserved his medal too, so well done, boys. Obviously this year, my first year as senior coach at Herman Park, I'd like to say thank you to the footy club for the opportunity to lead these blokes out. Obviously today wasn't an ideal result, but look, the development I've seen come through the group and the joy that I've had working for this, with this group has been hard to measure, and look, really looking forward to being back next year, so thanks for the season, boys.
Thanks, Max. Spoken really well. Now can I invite the coach of the Thurngale Bulldogs, Brett Hughes, to say a few words on behalf of his team.
Firstly, Max and the Tigers. Been some pretty good contests across the course of the season. Obviously today wasn't your day, boys, but you're a Premier club, you'll be back. You made a habit of getting to this day, so I'm sure you'll get your opportunities again. To our boys, look, we played a brutal, taxing sort of game style. There's a lot of running involved that you don't necessarily get rewarded for, but you just didn't complain once, and your will to win is just what's got us here and got this job done for us. Thanks to Sully and Skip and Mullet for helping me out for the year, and well done, boys.
Thanks, and I'll just ask Richard McDonald to present the winning coach, the match football and his Premiership medallion. Congratulations. Rich, I'll just ask you to stay on the stage while we present the players their Premiership medallions. Number 1, Jack Livingston. Number 2, Ricky Sullivan. Number 3, Adam Bice. Number 4, Jack Wine. Number 6, Stuart Guest. Number 8, Dan Murtha. Number 10, Max Newman. Number 11, Joel Newman. Number 12, Chris Tidswell. Number 14, Matthew Trent. Number 19, Brody Flood. Number 21, Nathan Searle. Number 22, Brock Wilson. Number 23, Jared Gilroy. Number 27, Lachlan O'Dwyer. Number 28, Geordie Murtha. Number 32, Daniel Watson. Number 35, Liam Labash. Number 39, Joel Dwyer. Number 55, Dominic Marshall. Number 57, Christian Payne. And the captain, number 5, Charlie Gordon. Now I'll ask Rich to present the Premiership flag and the cup to the 2023 RMS Senior Premiership side. The Thuringowa Bulldogs.